get this started and then I will let you know.
Yes, and make sure we record.
Actually, it's going straight to YouTube right now.
Oh, I see it now. I see that it is. Cool.
So you guys just tell me when you want me to start talking.
Okay.
Actually, it's going straight to YouTube right now. Beautiful. All right, are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here comes our friends.
Are we good?
Okay, it looks like we've got only, oh, there they are. Ooh, we've got a big group. This is awesome.
Nice. No pressure, right?
No pressure. Hey, everyone. Happy Thursday, lunchtime. We're going to make the most of our time here and we're going to get rolling. For those of you that may not know me, I'm Andrea Dana. I'm the Executive Director for ISDTA. And we are thrilled to have Meredith Dennis, one of our coaches within ISDTA for Davenport Central, share a bunch of amazing tips on fundraising. She is like the master fundraiser and different ideas, big ideas. So hopefully you can take away some really good things from this webinar. And I'm going to, well, actually, before I turn it over, there is a chat feature at the bottom of your screen. It just says chat, click on that. And if you have questions throughout, go ahead and type those in and we'll make sure that Meredith can address those. Okay? All right, Meredith, you're on.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Andrea. Like Andrea said, I'm Meredith Dennis, and I am the coach of Davenport Central High School, and I have been for, this is like my 12th season at this point. So we've done a lot for fundraising because when they brought me on board, there was no money and no funding available, and that actually has been the case all along. Actually, just yesterday, I was informed that the district is going to start helping to fund my program, but I still have to do a lot of fundraising because they don't really understand just how much dance costs and all what goes into it. Like I had to explain to my assistant superintendent the difference between a pom uniform and a jazz uniform. And he also didn't know why they needed special shoes, which I thought was hilarious. Luckily, I had a parent with me that kind of explained it as I was laughing. So anyway, fundraising has been a really big thing. I've had years where I have fundraised almost $40,000. So hopefully I can help you. These are just a few ideas. There are so many more, and I'll kind of shoot off some other ones at the end. But hopefully you're seeing the slideshow up. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing before I get started is social media is so important to your fundraising. It's a huge marketing tool because it not only markets to kids, but it markets to adults. And you'll see the fundraisers bring in all ages, all genders, everybody that's in your community to help you out. If you're not familiar with the Davenport area, we are a relatively large community in the Quad Cities, and there are 3 public high schools, 1 Catholic high school, and then if you include Bettendorf and Pleasant Valley, we're all very close. We are all tapping a lot of the same resources, so it's important for us to think outside the box. But we also use their social media presence to then reach out to our community so that our alumni within the school, within the dance team, can see it, our parents and everybody know when to come to events, how to get involved, and how to help us out. All right, so the first thing I'm going to talk about, car washes. I think everybody probably does a car wash every year. These are the ones, the fundraiser that I like to kick off my season with because it's such a good time for the kids to like bond and get to know each other. They get to joke and laugh around, or laugh and joke around. So it's important to use this tool as not only a fundraiser, but also as like a team building activity. I'm probably not telling you anything you don't know about car washes at this point, but it is a good one. We try to do 2 to 3 a year. So run right at the beginning of the summer, one kind of in the middle or towards the end, and then maybe one right after school starts. It can usually be pretty much nice enough to do one into September if you have time. We actually host ours in the parking lot of our football stadium. And again, this is really important. Our football stadium is not attached to our school, so it's on a main thoroughfare in town, and it is a very highly well-trafficked area. So when you're looking for a location, find an area that's really well trafficked and that people will be around. These pictures are actually taken. We did it at a Hy-Vee gas station in front of a strip mall in our town. So we have done it at the football stadium and then at this location as well, to just kind of feed into different people in different areas of town. We do not ask for a certain amount of money. We just ask for donations. So it's advertised as a free car wash, and we just ask for donations. That's always brought in more money. And again, we can make anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a car wash, just depending on the weather, the day of the week. We actually had to move one of our car washes to a Friday instead of a Saturday morning because of rain that was predicted for that Saturday morning. And we still made $600 on a Friday. So it's about the area, the location. And then again, going back to social media, the kids were posting pictures when they were out there. They were Snapchatting their friends. Obviously, you don't want your kids on their phones when they're supposed to be working, but in the downtime, or I section my kids in groups. So I have a group that's taking a break, and their job on their break is to text people and to Snapchat and to take pictures and send them to me for me to post on our Instagram or our Facebook page, on our Twitter account, to just make sure that it gets out there to the public and they know to come and get their car washed. So that is just a quick and easy one. And it's what I'm sure you're all doing. Maybe just gave you a couple ideas to make a little bit more money on your car wash. All right. So obviously another one that most of us do are kids clinics. So holding clinics is a huge way to build your program, make money, and just have a lot of fun and let your big kids really show off what dance team is and all about. Luckily for us as coaches, Alyssa has designed a really easy way for you to do online sign up for your kids clinics, which will really help you make sure that you're getting the most out of it. So I would highly recommend talking to her. I do my sign up also online through our website, but we have toyed with the idea of switching it just to make it a little bit more streamlined. And then one thing that I've done with my kids clinic is they perform at an event that I host. So when mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, all of their friends and family come to watch them, I make that money when they come to watch, not my football team, not my basketball team. So if you have a spring show, maybe you do 2 kids clinics. Maybe, you're used to doing one at the fall and the kids really love performing at football. So you go ahead and do that, but offer it again in the spring, and then have your youth clinic come and dance at your spring show. And then you've just brought in all of those people to see your team, and they paid to get in. So I do 1 free ticket to get into our competition for the kids clinic, and then everybody else who comes to watch their kid has to pay to get in. And I mean, it's not a lot to get in, but it exposes them to so many other dances and other people doing things. So it really is a good way to like bolster that sales when it comes to holding a kids clinic. In the last couple of years, I actually started a youth program. So I do a junior high team. I am not going to go any younger than junior high. I just don't have the time for that. But if you do have time to do a junior high program or a elementary school, like actual dance team, it's a good way to make a little extra money. We charge them an amount to be on this program. We don't make a ton off of them. We make just a little bit because we buy them shirts. We had to purchase uniforms last year. They have shoes and tights and the whole gamut because my junior high kids actually do go and compete. So it's building my program. They're competing. They're bringing in money. It's a whole nother set of parents that are going to work some of these other fundraisers for you. So it's just a good way to build your program and build your bank account. Of course, these 2 are more focused on getting your name out there and building your program. But the more people you have that know who you are and know what you're about, the more support you're going to have for the other fundraisers that you're doing. All right. So we kick off our big fundraisers with a vendor fair. So this came about 4 years ago because I had all of these MLM companies coming to me saying, oh, I'll do a 31 party and donate my commission to your team. I'll do a Cincy party and donate to your team. And so I got to thinking, like, rather than have 30 online parties with these vendors, I could just bring them all into one place and make so much more money. So we reach out to our local vendors and crafters. We have charged anywhere from $25 to $35 for a space. So if this is something you're interested in doing, I can kind of tell you how we map it out. So they pay the $25 to $35, whatever you charge. And then we also ask them for an item to use in a raffle. So then we sell raffle tickets and we sell concessions. And we do this all in our high school gym. So our space is free. So these are kind of the low end numbers of $1,500 to $2,500. We have room in our high school gym to probably make close to $5,000 on this by just getting the vendors in the door. What's really important if you're going to do this is when they sign up, make sure that you're getting that payment and give them a deadline. So I think the next sign, yes. So here is my sign up for my vendor fair. Again, this is something Alyssa can help you with if you don't have a website, if you're not familiar with how to do this. Hopefully Alyssa's not mad that I'm totally throwing my business her way, but she's a genius when it comes to this stuff. So she can help you with the online signups. And they go here and they fill out this little form. And then we have a buy now PayPal link that they go in and pay for their spot on PayPal. Sometimes we have people that would prefer to send a check, and that's fine. But we give them, once we get that form, we give them a 48-hour window to pay before we confirm their spot. So that means if the 31 vendor comes in, fills out her form and says, I'm going to mail a check, obviously we have to give her more than 48 hours. But if she's like, oh, I'm going to do the PayPal link in a little bit, I couldn't get it to work, 48 hours. But then once that's done, she's not our 31 vendor anymore. I'm happy to take the next 31 vendor that signs up. It can get a little, you got to really pay attention to what's going on. But if you have supportive parents, this is easily something that they can monitor. I should explain a little bit before I get too far that my team actually established its own 501c3. So I have my own parent run booster club, and they handle all of the money. I don't touch the money. I don't see the money. I give them a budget, what I would like to do for the year, and we work together to see what we need to do to make that happen. So I can do a PayPal link because my boosters can set up PayPal that way. So obviously, if that's not something you have available to you, you will have to do the check payment or figure out a way if you can take credit cards or things like that for these people to make their payments. But just sticking to them, making sure that they follow through with their obligation to pay. Now, here's the kicker about that is 31 pays. She doesn't show up that day. You already have her money. Yeah, you're out the raffle item, but really at the end of the day, that's not a big deal. So all of your profit is really made from this before the event even happens. So that's really why I like this one, because if they all come and set up and you have a really bad shopping day, you've already made your money. Now you might have to convince your vendors to come back the next year if it's not the best day. But a lot of times these vendors are family friends, they're alumni, they're people who appreciate and are involved with your program. So they will come back no matter how much money they make. So again, Alyssa's asking, how do we promote it to attendees? So again, it goes back to that social media thing. We blast it all over social media. We have an e-blast that goes out through school. So if you notice the date on my flyer, this is before the end of the school year. So this is right after tryouts. I will start getting my vendors about January, start setting this up and getting it ready to go. And then it goes out in our school announcements. It goes out in our e-blast. If you look on your local paper, there's probably a free section where you can do an electronic ad. Or, if you do have to spend a little bit of money to do a little ad, it really, it's not going to take a whole chunk out of your budget. The other thing with it, as far as advertising is, like I said, Facebook and social media are great. I know for me, there's a Quad City vendors group on Facebook, and it promotes vendor fairs and vendor shows. And I got a lot of people, to sign up through that, but then I was also able to promote it and cross promote it. Create, if you don't have a team Facebook page, I would strongly recommend creating one, because then too, you post there and then so-and-so's mom can share it, and then their grandma, and then their mom's friends start sharing it. And pretty soon it's just like word of mouth through social media and through like newspaper and things like that. So I think that hopefully that answers your question, but word of mouth, get it out there. I've printed these posters. We put them up all over. Like if you go into your local Starbucks, they're going to let you put it up. They have a community board. Just throw it up there. You'll be amazed. And all of the vendors then have their own Facebook pages. Like I know I sell Zaya, and I have a Facebook group for my Zaya. So then I let them know, hey, I'm going to be at this event. Come check it out and help these kids. People want to help kids, especially people that are connected somehow, really do want to help. So again, like I list all my vendors that are registered so they can see it. I share my website, my web page link with the vendor fair, and really promote it that way. So if you have questions about that, just let me know, and I'm happy to help you get going with it. I promise you, plenty of vendors that will take part in your event. All right, so the next one that we do, we don't do this every year, but it can be a really good moneymaker. So I specifically am calling out Krispy Kreme because we do not have a Krispy Kreme donuts here in the Quad Cities. So if you have a Krispy Kreme in your town, you can still do this one. You just may not make quite as much money, just realistically. So we sell a lot of these because we don't have a Krispy Kreme in town. And actually we just got a Hertz, so we didn't really have a popular or well-known and liked donut shop. So the amount you make is really unlimited on this. It's really up to you and what you want to sell and how you want to sell it. I set a requirement, so all of my dancers need to sell 10 dozen donuts. So if I know that going in, then I know I can fill the quota I need to get them delivered. So our closest Krispy Kreme in the Quad Cities is actually in Bloomington, Illinois. And if we sell 300 dozen, they will deliver them. So we have to make that 300 dozen quota in order to get the donuts delivered. And you can do this however you see fit. So we this year, my kids each sold their 10 dozen or so, some of them a little bit more, some of them a little bit less. So I think we had like 350 to 400 dozen donuts pre-sold. And then I ordered an additional 50 dozen donuts that we then sold the morning they were delivered, again, at our stadium, at our football stadium in the parking lot. Kids were out with signs. People just pulled in and bought their dozen donuts. So it's $10 a dozen for the glazed, or $8, I'm sorry, $8 a dozen for the glazed. And then you can sell, there's like a raspberry filled, a lemon filled, and a cream filled that I think are $9 a dozen. And then you can also sell coffee for like $12 a bag. And then how much you make off each dozen, you make about $3.50 per dozen donuts. And it's really easy. So if you go to Krispy Kreme's website, there's a fundraising page. Now I will caution you, there's like an online form you can fill out and stuff. Don't do that. Find your closest Krispy Kreme and just call them and say, I want to have a Krispy Kreme fundraiser. I'm looking to have them delivered on whatever date, and see if it's available, and work that out with them. And then if you look on the right side of your screen, I think it should be the right side of your screen, you'll see the forms right there. It says English forms. There's a fundraising brochure. You can also buy BOGO cards, which might be better if you actually have a Krispy Kreme in town. And then there's like the new or special order coffee pre-selling. So they do all of the forms for you, but you could easily make your own. And I've made my own in the past. I'm happy to share that file with you if you would like it. And then you just print them off, give them to the kids, and have them pre-sell their donuts. Works like a charm. There's lots of schools and businesses and organizations that do this. My daughter also sold them for swimming, but it's popular enough that people will buy them. So it's just an idea. I know Hertz Donuts also does a fundraiser. There was a school here that did it a while back before we had the Hertz Donuts in town. Really any like donut shop, even your local mom and pop shop, will probably help you out with some respect with donuts. Even if the kids just had them donate 3 dozen donuts, I mean, you'd want more than that, and took them to school and sold them for $1 a piece. You're going to make money. So find out what you can and cannot sell to at school, because that will make a huge difference. I actually had it cleared with my principal that if I didn't sell out of the 50 dozen donuts, that I could sell the leftovers out of my classroom for $1 a piece that day. They were gone. I didn't have to do that, but I just asked him and he said, yep, no problem. You can do that. So just something to keep in mind. Find things in town or novelty. Maybe there's some sort of novelty food. I know, again, I'll bring up Alyssa in Cedar Falls. She has some information about ice cream sandwiches that did really well, because it's something that people can't just always go and get. So find those things that you could sell and work with those businesses. All right, so this one is one we just started doing last year. So we do this one in September. I should say we did Krispy Kreme in May. So I kind of look at one thing a month. So April was vendor fair, Krispy Kreme was May. We had our car wash in June. We had another car wash in July. We're doing sponsors right now for August, and then this one is in September. There is a company here in the Quad Cities that does this for us. So they they're a rock and roll. If you Google rock and roll bingo, they come up, and then I don't know about different areas. It's just like regular bingo, but you have a card that has songs on it. And the DJ plays the beginning of the song, and you cover it up on your card. And then, yes, he will tell you the name of the song. So if you're not super familiar with music, but you like music, or you can't think of names of songs, because I know that's how I am, you can still get it. But of course, if you know the name of the song, you're going to be able to call bingo first and then win. So we do 10 rounds. It costs $10 a person, and they get their first bag of chips and their bingo card for that $10. Then once they get there, the kids will go around and sell additional cards for $5, and cards and chips for $5. So people can buy 7 additional cards if they want to. And then we also have raffle items that we will have donated. Again, we kind of go back to those vendors and say, hey, would you be willing to donate another item? And typically they will go ahead and do it for you. And we sell raffle tickets. I think we did a little bit of a silent auction last year. My parents pretty much take care of this. So some of the details, I would have to put you in touch with one of my booster moms to maybe, or I could get a hold of her, obviously, but to get you in touch with that. But the kids, again, I make my kids pre-sell the tables. So all of my kids pre-sell at least one table. So I'm guaranteed 34 tables before the event even starts. Rock and Roll Bingo advertises this. Again, it goes back to social media. This is all over social media. I create events so people can show their interest and we can reach out to them. And the biggest thing too, it's silly, but try to find a place where you can have it that there is a bar. So we have done it at Knights of Columbus, and then this year we're moving to KSI Senior Center. But being able to sell alcohol to the over 21s in attendance, it really does make a difference. And I probably shouldn't be saying that, but that was actually a question I got from somebody about, well, will there be a bar? And they were all excited about that. People bring in their own food and snacks. And so they have food and snacks at their table, and it's super loud and super crazy. And you have your kids work and dance and just show off. And it's so much fun. You see the date on there. If you can get to the Quad Cities, you're welcome to come and observe or play at our event. I would love to have you guys come. It's so much fun. The kids loved it, and we're so excited about having it again this year. Last year in our first attempt, we made just over $3,500. So I'm hoping this year that we can push that to the $5,000 range, depending on, how much they hustle and get those seats sold. But people, again, will come out and play and have fun. We had some people walking off the street that wanted to play. And so that was really cool, because we got, again, to get our name out there even more to people. And like, oh, I didn't even know Central had a dance team. And we've been around for quite some time now. So this is a really fun one. And it's really, honestly, super easy. If you don't have a company that can run it for you, make your own bingo cards. I mean, and that's something you could do even with your team. Have your girls, or your dancers, I should say. I should know better. I have a boy. pick the songs and, make the playlist and make your bingo cards and run it. And you don't even have to pay the DJ to be there, pay the company to be there to run it for you. It'll take a little bit more legwork because you'll have to be responsible for the printing of the cards and the chips and all of that. But I promise you it will be worth it because it's so much fun. This is a really super, super easy one that we do. We try to do one of these a month as well. Check with your local restaurants and see if they will do tip nights for you. These are the places that I know for sure do them. And there's a couple more. I know Portillo's, we just got one. They do one. And there's another one that I cannot think of right now off the top of my head, but it will come to me as we're talking. So basically, all this is between the hours of 4 and 8 on one night, they will give you a percentage of the proceeds. Now, some of them require, so like at Chick-fil-A, it requires the team to participate and be there. Doesn't have to be all of your kids. I had like 10 of my kids working, and they do pick up trash and get refills and run orders and are actually kind of the servers for the night. But then people will leave them tips. So we make the 10% of the proceeds, and then we also make the tips, and we're out in our dance team gear. We're kind of showing off who we are. Pizza Ranch also, they are the servers, but Pizza Ranch, we can make anywhere from $600 to $800, depending on, the night we pick and how busy it is, because we get the tips, and then we also get a percentage of the proceeds for that one. Last year at Pizza Ranch, I had a guy give the kids a 50 because he thought they were working harder than the staff. So it just goes to show that, like, getting them out there, the people will help you out. For these other ones, for Pancheros, they do the extras. So if people go into Pancheros and order extra cheese, extra guacamole, then you get the amount that they did. So that's an easy one. Moe's is, again, a percentage. Panera is a percentage. And then Culver's is a percentage. And Culver's, you do typically have to have your team work as servers. So it just kind of depends, but find out. Maybe you have a local restaurant that would be willing to do it even too, and just help the kids out. Just something that's super simple. And because you don't have to be there for a lot of them, there's really no work. There's flyers, again, posting on social media. We do a couple of these when school is in session. So I'll print them off and I'll put them in all of the teachers' mailboxes. I know for one of them that we did, the kids printed off the flyers and put them on the cars in the parking lot. So I don't know if we were allowed to. I didn't ask. I just did it, and I didn't get in trouble. So, but just getting people out there, and then they just go in and they say, "I'm here for the dance team," and you get a percentage. Oh, Texas Roadhouse. That's the other one that I was thinking of that we did. So Texas Roadhouse is another one. So if you're curious about a list of restaurants, I can help you find that. And they're really easy to set up online and go in. You may have to get a tax ID number if you're not, like I said, I have my own. A lot of times your athletic boosters will let you use your tax ID number. So keep that in mind. When you're setting these up, you might have to do that, but they're super easy. Another really super easy one is we do a team store. And so we do spirit wear. We used to sell shirts for the homecoming football game because our homecoming theme every year is America. Our colors are red, white, and blue. So obviously that makes sense. And then the student council kind of got away from a homecoming theme, like dance theme shirt, and more of a football shirt. So we kind of just moved into doing our own spirit store. We get ours up and running at the beginning of the school year because it taps into the freshmen. And a lot of times the freshmen don't have school clothes, like go support your team because they are new. And so they don't have a lot of stuff. So they want to get in on that. I posted the picture of the hats and of the Pura Vida bracelets because these are two new things that we're offering. And we're also offering stocking caps. Think outside the box when it comes to these items because every team is probably designing a team store. One thing I do for mine is I make sure the shirts are very central neutral. so that they're not dance team. Like I know the golf team store went up and there was a shirt I thought was super cute, but it said Central Golf. And not that I don't support the Central Golf team, I do, but I would have preferred it to just say Central. It just would have appealed to me a little bit more to not say Central Golf. So maybe have a couple dance things. Like you see this hat, it's our dance team logo, but we're also selling them with just the DC on the front and then maybe the little dance team logo on the side so that it still appeals to the general population, but still promotes the school. Pura Vida does these bracelets. You can buy them for $5 a piece. Actually, this design I think is $3.50, and then the braided design is $5, and then we're gonna sell them for $10. So we make $5 a bracelet, and the kids told me that they would take no time at all. I know that a lot of times kids are looking for socks or for sweatpants, things that maybe you can't just buy from your regular boosters. So just really think outside the box. And then if you find a design that is really popular, keep it and stick with it. So a few years ago, we did an American double head shirt design and it was super popular. And we kept it for like 3 years and still managed to sell a lot of them. So now we're taking a break because we want to drum up that support again for that shirt, and then we'll bring it back. Actually, my boosters, my athletic boosters, tried to steal the design from me, so I had to put my foot down. But make sure you keep hold of things, because I'll tell you at the end of this about a couple of fundraisers I lost because when I was new, I didn't do a good job of staking my claim on them. So super easy with the team store. We do it all online. We just set it up ourselves, so I'm not paying anybody to do it for me. That's the key too. The more you can do by yourself, the better off you will be. So this one obviously is to the Quad Cities specifically. We pick up garbage at our BIX, the BIX 7. If you're not familiar with it, it's a 7-mile uphill both ways road race. And so my kids set up, or my family set up trash bins before the kids race, and then they pick up garbage after the kids race, and then they pick up garbage after the actual race, and we make like $1,000 doing this. In total, we probably spend 3 or 4 hours in total for 2 days doing the work, and make it quick, easy money. So I would suggest if there's a festival, if there's a 5K, if you're by the county fair, find out what you can do to help and how you might be able to get paid for it. Businesses and companies, organizations would rather pay kids that are going to use the money for school than hire people to come in and do it. At least that's been my experience. Another thing, if RAGBRAI grows through your area, that's a really good way to get involved. I know when RAGBRAI ended here, we sold popsicles and had like towels available to riders when they got into RAGBRAI. So just things that you can do along those way or along that route to help bring in money that are, again, really quick and easy and painless. And obviously for us, this is in July, and it was actually while we were at camp. So it was a great way to get my co-ed boys involved and my junior high kids. So really got them out and doing their part too. So I don't just keep my high school kids doing these fundraisers. My junior high girls get involved. I make sure my co-ed boys are getting involved. So in total, I'm looking at having like 70 families involved in some of my fundraisers. At least bodies out there could be involved. So also help at school events. These are ones that are really easy. When I was in high school, I danced at Cedar Falls, and we did all of the baseball concessions, and that was ours. That was our fundraiser. So our coach just split us up. We had so many days we had to sign up for, and we went and worked concessions, and it was great. It was a lot of fun. You got to kind of watch the game. You got to see your friends. You got to hang out with your team. I know it was a good one. And my team currently at Central, we work football concessions. It's not specifically just ours, but because we work football concessions, our athletic boosters actually pays for our charter bus to state and our state entry fees. So we do that. And then I work basketball concessions. Again, I don't do all of them, but I do a good chunk of them. And then my AD will pay for us to go to the other competitions that we do. So just ask around, can you work volleyball games? Can you take tickets? Is there something you can do that then will get help from your athletic director or from your athletic boosters or from the alumni association, whoever is in charge of helping with money that way. All right, so crowdfunding. There's a lot of different options for crowdfunding out there. I would highly recommend you do your research. Last year we did Snap Raise and it went well. But they did keep $1,500 of the money we brought in. So we got to take home $3,500, but they got to keep $1,500. So kind of a bummer at the end of the day. It was convenient because they set up the web page and they sent out all the email reminders and they did a lot of that work, but I don't think they did $1,500 worth of work, to be really honest with you. So this year we are doing it on our own. So again, this is on my website and they fill out the form and they click on the PayPal link and they make a donation. We've actually made a little bit more than this. Our goal is 5,000. I don't think we're going to get there doing it on our own because it's harder to push out the reminders, but we're at over 2,000 now doing it by ourselves. And I guess I just feel better about knowing that we got to keep all that money and I can keep this open as long as I want to. Whereas working with SnapRaise, they made us close it down after so many weeks. And so if people still wanted to donate, they couldn't. So the nice thing about this is I can leave this open all year and just keep sending it out, keep asking people. Maybe somebody doesn't have the money this month, but they do next month. So it's just something that we can really keep doing and keep working on, and just make sure you address them, publicly. I'm sure people can set up a website better than I can. Make it pretty, put your own spin on it. Do what works. I found this little thermometer thing by Googling it and just inserted the URL to make it work for our page. So it was easy to keep track. I just go in and change the number every time we do it. 59-minute fundraiser is one we've done in the past too, kind of similar. You just call, you spend an hour making phone calls. We sold cookie dough with it. I am not a big go sell thing person. Like I said, Krispy Kreme is about where I end it as far as selling stuff, just because kids sell enough for everything else. I don't want them hauling around candy bars and all that stuff. It just doesn't work for us. So here's the big one, get sponsors. So find those businesses in your community that want to help you out and get sponsors. Last year, we brought in around $8,000 in sponsors, and that was just the monetary donation. So that doesn't include people that donated raffle items or who gave us judges gifts for our competition, who did any of that stuff. So draft a letter, tell them what they're paying for, what are they buying into. And then I have this opportunity sheet because I have several places where we can promote their business. And if you don't, that's fine. Just figure out what works for you. Our big one obviously is our team poster. So their logos go on our team poster. Since we host a competition, they do get their recognition in our competition program and then on the back of the shirt. So I have several opportunities for them to get their business out there. But again, this would be a great opportunity with social media. Thank you to CNC Plumbing for sponsoring the dance team this year. We really appreciate your support. You're tagging them on Facebook, you're showing their logo. So figure out how you can promote these businesses that are working to help you. I do say that we do several volunteer things to kind of pay it forward. So we just volunteered an event called Cops and Cones, where we helped hand out ice cream with the Davenport Police Department to families and kids at one of our local parks. We also volunteer at a couple of 5Ks, just our way of paying it forward. We appreciate your donation. We're going to go out and give our time to pay forward the donation that you gave us. And these businesses really like to see that. One thing I've added this year with our sponsors is doing a business discount card. So you've probably seen these put out where businesses, you sell them for $25 and businesses will go on there and, it's a coupon for this or coupon for that. Well, if you do it yourself, then you get to keep all the money. So we've just gone to the businesses and said, hey, do you want to be on this? Sure, they can do buy one, get one. So we're in the process of making our business discount card that we are then going to sell for $10 or $15 and have them available for the next year, leading into my new team then that I will have. Okay, so obviously not everybody can do this, but this is our biggest fundraiser of the year. You can make anywhere from, I think the first year, maybe $6,000, $7,000 we brought in, to now, as we grow, you can make over 10. I'm sure that the competitions that have been around longer than me make even more than that. It's really not as hard as you think. And I know that there are a lot of teams that are looking for other competitions around the state. So I would just start doing my research, see what dates are maybe available, if maybe ask in the coaches group if people want before or after state. I know that sometimes you can get companies involved like NDA or excuse me, like varsity or dance team union to come in and kind of do a lot of the work for you, but you can still get proceeds from them. So maybe talk to your reps to see what you can find out. Again, I do it all through my website, and teams just go and sign up. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump ahead. I thought I had a sign up screen. Go and sign up, and then we can take check or credit card payments for the teams to come. We have kept our prices pretty similar over the last couple of years to try to encourage teams to come, and they come and get feedback before state. You can pay your judges. You can find people in your community that are good quality judges to do it. I've had everything available. I think the biggest thing is just really pay attention to the people that have been having competitions, and try not to step on their toes. Obviously, if there's one in, on one side of the state on the same day as the other side of the state, that's not a big deal, but we just make sure that, you both want to be able to help teams get that competition advice and then be able to make money off of it as well. So that's our big one. So it probably skews my numbers a little bit, obviously. But if you think that if I make 10 grand off my competition, then if I take away that, I'm still pulling in 20 to 30 grand a year in fundraising. There's a lot of stuff that you can do we used to do driveway paintings. And then again, that's when I was telling you that I lost because I didn't hold on to it tight enough. And After Prom took it from me, but it's an easy one. You just have them go out and paint the logos or the school letter or whatever on driveways in your community and sell those. And there's several teams who do that. Could probably help you better than I can because I haven't done it since my first season. The biggest thing, of course, is getting that team buy-in. My kids know if you want to do this, if you want to do that, if you want new uniforms, if you want team shoes, we have to be able to do these things. And I think that I've been very, very fortunate that I've had kids that are willing to hustle because they want to have all of the nicer things that they can have. They want to be able to not have to worry if they want a jazz costume, if they want if we're going to take co-ed to state, they don't have to worry about it because we have it covered and we have it paid for. We all know this is a really, really expensive sport. I do charge the kids a pledge. I shouldn't say it's a charge. It's a pledge. And if they pledge a certain amount, then they do keep their bag and their jacket and their tank tops and the camp wear, and they get to go to camp. But my goal is to keep my costs as low for my kids as possible. So I keep it right at $500 to be involved in my program. But again, I've never turned a kid away because they can't pay. So sometimes we're helping cover somebody here or there, but you just have to put in the work to make that possible for everybody. So that is my last slide. I know I've been talking nonstop for like 45 minutes. So I don't know if there's any other questions or any other thoughts on anything. This is, like I said, just a few ideas. These are the big ones that work for me. I'm getting to the point, like I said, where I don't want to sell candy bars. I don't want to have the kids out knocking on doors, trying to sell wreaths and all that stuff. It doesn't work for us. So I like these big ones that the internet does a lot of the work. And as long as the kids are sharing and getting out there, they do go out and get sponsors. I should say that about sponsors. I did take a day instead of practice. My kids met and they were broken up into groups. They were assigned businesses and they went and asked them for sponsorship. So that way the kids who couldn't drive had somebody who could drive them and were able to still get out and get it done. But we always tell the kids, for sponsors, start with the people that you know. For example, my realtor gave us a $250 sponsorship. I haven't bought a house in 9 years, but he knows that if we go to sell and if we go to buy, he will be the person that we call. So he took care of us. So find those people that you know, and really get after them first, and just get your kids excited about it. Like I make it all about bonding and getting to know each other. And so when they went out to find sponsors, take pictures, and I like gave them like little things like take a picture with, this, or take a picture with that. And so make it fun. The kid who gets the most in sponsorships gets a gift card to Atomic, which is a popular coffee shop here. Stuff like that just really incentivize them. That doesn't take much out of the overall big picture. So that's all I think I have.
Okay, anybody have questions? I'm sitting here in awe, just so you know. Holy cow.
Well, I appreciate it. But I also should point out that if you notice, everything but our competition is done before school starts.
Yes.
So because then I don't have to have the kids, like when the kids start playing volleyball and dancing and swimming and studio stuff, or they're selling stuff for band or show choir, they're not doing any of that for me anymore.
I think that's really smart.
So, I mean, bingo is September, but we've already done everything. So we're not
right. It's just the event.
Yep, just the event. Competition is, the kids don't, and with the competition, like my kids just work all day. So that's all they have to do for that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Same thing with vendor fair. They help the vendors. And that's why the vendors come back to vendor fair, because I have my kids out in the parking lot. They're carrying in all of the stuff for the vendors and helping them set up and getting them drinks and bringing them snacks. And so the vendors appreciate that. And so that's why they came back. I guarantee they don't make very much money at our event.
Yeah. And it's really smart to get their money up front. So if they show, great. If they don't, you still at least have their entry fee.
Yep.
And that's awesome. And there are so many vendors like that would participate.
And even coaches who will travel. Like, I know I would travel to another team's event if I could, because I mean, I'm going to go support that other team. I'm going to build my business across the state. And, then it's just good networking too within the dance team community, because we all know, like, we really only have each other because no one gets us,
Correct.
the saying that from the inside looking out, you can never explain it. From the outside looking in, you can never understand it. And that is totally what we are. So we need each other.
Very true. Yeah.
So,
well, I'm not seeing any questions come in, but this has been recorded. This has been a wealth of information, and it's obvious you have a lot of tips and tricks that you can still share.
Oh, sure.
When I send this out, I'll make sure that everybody has your contact information, Meredith. So
absolutely,
they can reach out to you with specific questions.
Perfect.
And thank you so much for your time and sharing this. This is
no problem.
A lot of people, I think.
I hope so.
Awesome. All right. Thanks everyone for joining.
Thanks,
and
guys.
have a great rest of your week.